Mr. Schweikert, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Brady, it's always a joy to see you, and you know exactly what I'm going to ask. But let's actually walk through a couple possibilities here. Let's say the Supreme Court makes a decision in regards to the enhanced tariff revenues. A decade ago, when you were chairman of Joint Economic Committee and other things, we had meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting with economists, economic modelers on how to maximize economic growth, stabilize tax receipts, and do it in the most efficient international fashion possible. We designed a destination cash flow tax, that we even looked at things of refundability for certain types of exports. Do you still believe that the work we did several years ago is economically viable? And considering the arbitrage of other countries using their value-added tax and refunding it when they're exporting to us, creating almost like tax arbitrage, is there a path here that we, as I think the most important committee in the world, actually could start to modernize our place in the international trade and actually also stabilize our tax receipts?
Yeah, thank you, Congressman, for asking about this. The reason we pursued a border adjustment tax in the original TCJA, two big reasons. One was competitiveness, because it applies to goods and services coming in the U.S. on a level playing field, but we take it off our exports. It immediately made us dramatically more competitive, especially in those 170 countries with their own version of a border adjustment tax. It also created immediate expensing, almost zero investment tax for the United States, so making sure we were the #1 country in the world to invest in, again, making us dramatically competitive. The simplicity of it was, I think, the beauty, because essentially what this tax would do, the border adjustment tax, would have wiped out huge portions of the international tax code and replaced it with the simple question: do you sell your product here in the United States? Do you sell it here? Doesn't matter where you produce it, doesn't matter how it's done, do you sell it here? Everyone pays exact, at the time, 20% tax. So we basically took away a Made in America tax and created a level playing field and sort of a consumption tax in business that really drove simplicity in a big way. So we saw those as big benefits. The other one, Congressman, if you remember, we really believed President Trump's never been shy about his use of tariffs, his leverage. The border adjustment tax really, I think, was an elegant, a smart way to not just be competitive, but to enhance our trading relationships and our benefits, making us more competitive. And so that's why we had proposed it. As you know, we didn't have the votes. And I think in big part because while the idea's been around for a long time, it was new for many. And when you go bold, you need the time to sit down with the industries and the companies that are impacted. Retailers were concerned, refiners were concerned, others just didn't know. We didn't have the time to sit down and really have some thoughtful conversations about how to make sure those industries and sectors so important in our economy, those issues could be addressed. And so we didn't have the vote. We had to set it aside. I think over time, if you have those thoughtful conversations, Congressman, if you work through those areas of concern, and if you recognize we were seeking to do that so that we could lower taxes on businesses, on families. So we're not using it for spending, we're using it for pro-growth measures, let people keep more of what they earn. I think there is that value. Does it have political support today? I don't know. That's really for members who are interested in that approach to explore further. But at the end of the day, I think the committee, we should always be looking for a way to be more competitive, simplify the code, make us even stronger economically, just as you did, by the way, in this new tax bill, especially in the business provisions, the international tax. It was a great job there.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I hope at some point we get a second round, because I wanted the professors, because some of his writings in regards to some of these things. But I think we intellectually need to be prepared for what's the next step and what would maximize economic prosperity, and particularly for both the left and the right, wage growth. And we have some very good economic modeling underneath this. And with that, I yield back.